Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on September, good question, 9th, 2024 at approximately 4:30 p.m. PST. Now I've returned to this world for one primary purpose, and that is to remind people that working together we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. Now, I bill myself as a spiritual guide because the tools I offer are the same tools I use in my own personal life and have offered to literally thousands of others with varying degrees of success depending on their own personal efforts. Now, today we're going to be looking at literally getting your life organized and how that is going to help sort society out. We talked about a lot of things yesterday about what's going to happen when you reclaim power over your life. Okay, how getting the energy running in the right play in the right direction is going to make things so much more smooth for you. Okay, now here's the neat little part. When you get your life running properly, you'll find your stress level collapses, energy level goes up, productivity, and frankly, your prosperity levels also come online. Now, the reason this works, as far as society itself goes, and I think that was it, that is so. I do that so I can actually see what I'm doing. Good. Now, the reason it works is this. As you get your life organized, you're going to have a much more stable energy level. Okay, you're going to feel more energetic, more congenial. And I say you will because with well over 100,000 clients in my career, okay, I have not seen much of a variation. Now, yes, you can certainly hang on to the negative past. That's not going to be a big problem. But the question is, do you actually desire to? Now, well, thank you very much, Storm. The sad part of this is, technologically speaking, I'm pretty much hooked. So we have Storm in the background there, making sure it all runs. And bearing in mind this is a brand new system, we are kind of running into hiccups every now and then. We'll get used to it though. Now, the first step to getting anywhere in life, to getting anything reorganized, is literally to decide that you personally desire it to be organized. Okay, that would be the first thing. Because unless you feel it's got to be changed, it's not going to change. And I'll get to that in 10 seconds. Ellie Moon, how you doing? I hope that your day is going well. Oh, real quick update. I did get the shelving unit that I required, and we picked up the printer today. So now we've got more room for canning, more room for the gaming setup, and the living room is pulled around. Okay, all in all, what I said we were going to be working on yesterday, we did. Now, granted, it took me till today to get the printer, but that's because I had to go down and get it. Now, as you get your life running more smoothly and your stress level comes down, you're going to be more likely to treat other people better as well. Let's face it. Have you ever noticed if you're in a bad mood or if you're really stressed, you tend to snap at other people a lot more than if you're relaxed and or enjoying yourself? Okay, so what happens here? You get your life running reasonably smoothly. There we go. As you get yours reorganized, when you go out in the world, you're likely to treat people a little better. Because you notice if you're stressed, you'll snap more readily. You won't smile at people as much. Yeah, LA's just going. Organizing has de-stressed me quite a lot. Joe, you are in with the gold. How you doing? Oh, minor technological glitches with a brand new system. But we got her all back on track. Oh, would you look at that? Storm, just a quick note. The chat is showing up in the blue screen now. I still can't read it, but that's not your doing. But if you're in a good mood, you're going to be much more agreeable with people. You'll be able to tolerate the annoyances a lot more readily. You know, this is just something I've found with every person in every walk of life. Now, today, if I seem a little scattered, well, that's me. No, the reality is I only got about an hour solid sleep last night, and then almost literally on the hour, I was waking up for one reason or another, usually with a start. By the way, in case you hadn't noticed, this is not coffee today. So, what we're looking at here is if we're going to change the way society is working, we've got to let go of the fear. We've got to start really focusing on the positive side. And on the things that are working. Well, the reality is, if we choose to continue looking at the negative side and what's gone wrong, we're in serious trouble. Oh, nice. See, I didn't have a whole lot of time to do much of anything today. I had gaming and then I had to go get the printer. So today, it's going to be roast chicken. But that's because it was real quick and easy to pick up. I am going to be starting to cook a lot more because I've sheared off literally everything I can. Okay, as in, I've sheared off going out. The restaurant I was going out to is not treating the staff properly at all. As a matter of fact, it fired most of them. They said they were closing down for renovations. What they did was very little in the way of actual structural change or even layout change. But they did fire 3/4 of their staff. Now, I've known the staff for years. And rest assured, this idea of firing somebody with no warning doesn't work all that well for me. So I'm just not going there anymore. Now, when you start getting things running, like right now, my desk is completely cleared aside from two things. Okay, one being the Waller just came home with, and two being my Powerade. I think it's Powerade. Yep. Other than that, the desk is virtually completely cleared. So now what we're looking at is making certain that we get it all organized. That we keep everything running smoothly. I've got the filing sorted out. And again, sorting out your filing is kind of like, LA goes, they're cutting their wages. Well, that's great. The fact of the matter is, I do agree that's probably what they're doing. But here's the kicker. And I've seen this happen so often. Kill off your experienced staff. And I know for a fact, the few regulars I did see in there were mad or no at hand at the changes, which means they're going to start losing their customers. But people are so interested in going out and, spending money and making it look good that they're not looking at the big picture. Myself, it comes at kind of a benefit. Uh-oh. Should I ask Joe, or would you rather talk about that a little later? About what the uneasy conversation was. Because the reality is there are certain questions or certain things that people require insight into that you don't desire to make public. But, when we take a look at things, so much of society says, I want all the bells and whistles, I want all the neat little trinkets. But nobody wants to pay, virtually nobody wants to pay survivable wages. Okay. And, I take a look at it. If I take a look at the church, which is what Joey just brought up, if I take a look at them, for all the collections and all the donations they get, you'd think that the homeless situation around them would be banked. Would be tangled with at least a little. Now, the nice part about it, okay, when we start looking at the way this is working, yes, I am going to be setting a charity in motion in time. On the plus side, I do feel for you, Joe, very definitely. The plus side of that, in case you're wondering what I'm digging for, it's literally the change that's left out from my son buying his printer. Okay, that takes care of all that. Shouldn't be anything in here. I love when my mind gets confused. It does it often enough. There we go. That is just one of these things called organizing. So I kind of have to get it running it the right way. There we go. Now, the more organized you are, and the more smoothly the energy in your house runs, the better off you're going to find things. It's just going to take a little bit of time to get it in place. One of the things we have to realize is if you take a look at just little small things, just individual houses. Now, you take care of your house, get it running smoothly, you'll deal more efficiently with the neighbor. If they turn around and talk to you about what the change is, because people will start to notice. And all you have to do is go, look, this is what I did. Yeah, to be clear though, Joe, I, like you, still, well, that too, but I still believe wholeheartedly in God and in Christ. I just haven't been to a church since 1977. I've been to one since 77. Okay. But that does not take away from your belief in God. Okay. So when we're looking at organizing your life, critical factor, you gotta put your own boundaries in place. Okay, and this literally applies to everybody. Now, I told you what the first thing was. The second step that is absolutely critical is this. These funny four words. Okay. I am worth it. Get those if you haven't already. Get those on your fridge. Okay. Because that will help you get a better look at yourself. And frankly, a better feel for yourself. Now again, when you're looking at that, at getting your life organized, you got to get the head sorted out. But I will tell you, getting your physical world sorted out will be a lot easier. Okay. I mean, if you look at the axiom that the state of your home is a reflection of the state of your mind, by comparison, the state of your mind likewise must be a reflection of the state of your home. Well, it's easier in my experience to change the distribution of stuff in your home than it is to change the way you're thinking. Okay, so you start with the easy one. Because I don't know about you, but I'm lazy. And what do we got here? There we go. Now, hopefully, over the next little while, we will be able to get things moving here properly and start to see a climb in the number of people tuning in. Because, the reason I'm looking at that number is simple. We have a whole pile of people listening to others standing up there saying, your life is a shambles, it's going to collapse. You're all going to suffer for all eternity because you're not doing exactly what you were told. Or you have millions of others that sit staring at the computer, watching other people play games. Now, I finally figured it out though. When people sit there watching somebody else play a game like Call of Duty or like I play Skyrim, okay, when you have somebody doing that is by the appearance of it, I would have to say that is literally our current idea of movies. Okay, so I've quit worrying about whether or not it makes sense, but that's me. But you still have to realize you've got to get physical things done, because no matter what you're doing to distract yourself, the real world still has to be dealt with. Now, see, I do go through this myself. I watch the numbers, I watch how many are coming in. And here's the kicker. Okay. I've talked about closing the stream down before. I've talked about closing the stream down and keep getting told, don't, because it's helping. And yet, I'm still finding when I look at the practical evidence, and don't get me wrong, Joe, Joe, Storm, LA, I absolutely appreciate you showing up. But I'm looking at the numbers going, for the number of people that I talked to that have told me, don't shut it down. Okay. It is almost amazing to me how few people actually log in. Now, to be clear, I have not looked at the number of views that have taken place after the show. So this might partially be maybe the main thing is the time I'm doing it. But the reality of it is that I do it at this time, number one, because it fit my schedule before, and now there's just not much point in changing it around. One of the biggest things I look at when you're getting your life organized and you're getting things to move in the right direction for you, you will find that you're no longer you're no longer obtaining as much garbage. You're also no longer spending as much trying to convince yourself you're happy. And that's where one of the biggest mistakes I made was I was going to a restaurant 4 or 5 times a week. Now this means I was cooking $300 to $400 a month. Okay, but here's the sad truth of it. Oh, there we are. Storm just saying last night's stream has been viewed by 39 so far. And this is great. I appreciate that, Storm. I'm going to have to pay a little more attention to that to keep an eye on things. What I did discover, and I lost where I was. Way to go. The reality is, the more organized you are, the easier it is to function. At least that would be the theory. Now, the unfortunate part here is this. I am getting my life reorganized, but what I was getting at is the low numbers of people coming in. I have to keep an eye on that because clearly it's not the critical factor. Now, there's been a lot of people from different live streams saying, "Oh, I got to come over. The content's great," or I'll get somebody going, "Hey, the content on your videos is fabulous, but if you give me more money, I can make it more visible." I have never, aside from one issue, it didn't cost me anything financially. Okay, there's only been one person that has said, whether they're private or professional, that has turned around and said, I can do this and make this a little more profitable. Sad reality, that one person is Storm from right here. When he offered to buy me a coffee up, it worked. Okay. As a matter of fact, and you're going to have to pardon me turning some light on. He said he could do it, make it work. Yeah, LA's going, oh, referring to that. Hear them out, tell them how much you love them and how much you appreciate their input, and then stop. Don't turn it into an explanation. Just stop. Okay. Now, here's the thing. I've got a very similar problem. Okay. Only in my case, it's with my older brother, who is wanting to know what my finances are doing, in spite of the fact that the estate has not been settled, and that's why my finances are shambles. Okay, and I mean, the explanations usually fall on deaf ears anyway. But here's the neat thing. I was told this by a very wealthy man one day. He goes, look, never explain anything to anyone. He goes, your friends don't require an explanation, and your enemies don't deserve one. Now, do understand, I personally look at it and go, that your friends don't require one, your family doesn't require one, your enemies certainly don't deserve one, but nobody else requires one either. Okay, but make sure when you're making a decision, get it organized in your own head. The difficult part is that guilt that you may well be feeling with it. Okay, and by the way, for those of you that are listening in, it doesn't matter if we're talking about, if we are talking about explaining it to somebody and having them understand it. If we're talking about friends, strangers, family, it doesn't matter. It all applies the same way. Okay, and that's where we got to keep things organized. Now, the fact is, if you feel that you've got to explain yourself, really take half a moment out and ask yourself, what good is that explanation going to be? In most cases, your explanation, and I am talking in very big generalities, in most cases, if your explanation does not coincide with doing exactly what the other person thought you should, they're not going to accept it as an explanation anyway. Okay, that's the biggest part. Oh, Now, why, pray tell? Oh, because they keep doing it the wrong way. I keep scrolling down. I would like the thing that confused me there, guys. Again, it's a new system, so I was trying to scroll down to see more of the messages, and that's not the way it works here. These ones fill in at the top, which should make it a little easier. But take a look at where your life is. Are you content with it? In your case, Joe, you know you still believe in God. You know you still have your beliefs. You just don't go to church. Well, understand, the building is not the point. Okay? And I can't tell you where, but it tells you somewhere in the Bible that the church rose its hands under the skies and raised its voice under the heavens above. I will tell you, if you're having trouble explaining to anybody why you're not going and you really desire to give them an explanation, drop that in their lap. I don't know about you, but personally, I have never seen a physical building do that. If that makes any sense. But it may help you come to a balance point. One of the biggest things that we have to look at is that the way you look at your life is going to have an effect on the way other people look at your life as well. The other thing I have found, like, I've got a whole pile of things here. As a matter of fact, I think some I got done. Not a lot. Gotta do that today. Whoop, there he is. I don't know if I did that. And since it's bugging me, I'm going to. Yes, I'll turn that off in just half a sec. I don't know what today is. There. Today is it. Good, so I did do that. What I was worried about was I hadn't got my journal entry done, because I am trying to keep on top of that. Eyeballs. Now, the other thing that we have to look at here, okay, if you're not content with your life, now we've talked about getting things organized. And when I take a look up front now, I actually took the shelving that I just picked up, and now I have a complete archway because we've got 2 bookshelves running up and a crossbar on top that holds some of my ornaments. Now, here's the thing. Got it all put up, locked into place, and went, I can now put an arch. At Christmas time, I can put an arch. I can decorate the arch properly there. Something I wasn't really planning on. Okay, but again, when you're looking at reorganizing your house, organize it to your liking. Okay, now, I've mentioned before, the brain is your office. Wherever you work on your finances, wherever you work on your planning, that's the brain of both your home and your office. Okay, now if you work from home, it happens to be one room. So hopefully that makes sense. Now, the other thing that I have found is by literally writing things down. Okay, you write now. Obviously, I'm not expecting you to read this. Okay, but I've got a list. Goes about halfway down here. And I will get it organized. I will start racking it off tonight. Of course, I got up this morning after no sleep. Got up And we had a game that ran from 10 until 3. And then I had to go get the printer, so I haven't had a lot of time to work. Now, in all honesty, there's only so much that can be said, as it turns out, about organizing. So, if you haven't done it already, take wherever you work on your finances. Get all of the clutter out of the way. Now, I was going to show you something here yesterday. This in the top of my filing cabinet is now empty. But I mentioned yesterday we were talking about some of the older equipment. Okay. This is what I was referring to about a portable typewriter. This was before the computer. And here's a little bit of rundown nostalgia lane here. Okay, this is what I grew up typing on. It actually was my mother's. Okay, some of you may recognize it, but it was this kind of a keyboard that my mom used to type at 80 words a minute on, and a friend of hers would type on this kind of keyboard at 180 words a minute. Now, here's the neat thing. Okay, you type here, take hold of this bar, slide it all the way across, and then start running, and then start typing again. Now, here's the thing. These little black discs here. These are what I'm referring to about the ribbon that I don't have, that I don't know exactly where I can get it. That's just a little bit of a drop back to yesterday. I don't even know if there is a serial number on it. In all fairness, I don't know where I'd look. I do know I'm not going to worry about it too much. Perfect. But that's your little trip down memory lane. Yeah, Storm goes, yep, I grew up with that one too. You know, that was one of the first manageable manual typewriters. But then the thing with it was there was no spell checker. There was no other and just back up and erase. It was a whole other world. Okay. Yeah. LA goes, I checked. I type at 120. A friend of my mom's, she typed at 120 words a minute as well. But she physically only had one hand. Which does go to show that anything is possible. Okay. Now that I got my front end sorted out, I've started to work on correcting my handwriting now with my left hand. Carl, how you doing? You're gonna love this one. You're actually in with the silver. Yeah, it's been a bit quiet today. But I am happy to say we have 7 watching right now, which from my standpoint is a good thing. Now, again, I was doing a bunch. Oh, there we are. Oh, thank you very much, Storm. I probably will at some point, but right now I gotta make sure that, Office Depot I'll deal with. Walmart, after what they pulled in town here, I don't. But that's me personally. From what I gather, they've still got good prices. But it's a personal thing for me. That is almost stunning. Well, no, it really is. Storm's just telling me those ribbons I can get for under $10 in USD, which means about 13 or 14 Canadian plus delivery. So if I get to that point, right now, it boils down to making sure my finances come around so I'm not worried about rent. Because right now, to be frank, I don't even have rent for the end of the month. Okay, of course, there's that question, well, if you don't have rent, why aren't you more worried? It's not that I'm not worried. It's that things have a tendency of working out. I'm just tired of it being at the last minute. What I have found, though, and I'm sure some of you are going through this, if your body has no time to unwind, you're going to be suffering problems. Okay? Now, I was a professional procrastinator for years. Then I got looking into it. Turns out, procrastination is a mild symptom of depression. Now, I told you guys for years I fought with depression. Why bother doing this? I'm doing what I can, but the world is not changing very well. Okay, the fact of the matter is, it's not me that's supposed to change it. All I can do is turn the lights on and go, here's a method that works. It's up to you as an individual to make those changes. One of the biggest things I find is that we are looking at a world where so many people are going, it's somebody else's fault. Okay, first rule, in your house, okay, I don't mean anywhere else, no, I'm not talking finances, I'm talking the physical layout of your house. Who is responsible for the clutter? Who is responsible for dishes not being done? How you doing, Carl? We are literally in the process of reorganizing life, reorganizing your home, your work, and looking at how that change is going to affect society on the whole. There are certain things you can look at that you can blame others for. Taxes clearly are being mishandled. Okay, but where it comes to the operation in your own home, take the money out of it. Take the money out of the equation. The layout, the way the clutter is saying, the way the stuff is distributed, all of that is literally your responsibility. You're the one that's got to change it. Okay, it's amazing how many people I talk to that say it's not my fault. And yet they're the only one living there. When you look at the stuff, and I don't think you can see it much, get that out of my way. When you look at the stuff on my bed, there's not much there right now. But that's because of the fact that I took responsibility for it when I'm not leaving it that way anymore. It's just not going to stay that way. You've got the same option. You're the one that's got to make the changes. Not a problem there, Carl. And, one thing to be clear, I don't mind repeating myself because the reality is it's something that is sort of a lost art in a way. But here's where you start, Carl. Okay, wherever you work on your finances, wherever you work on your organization, most people call it an office desk or a workstation. Go there. clear off all the clutter, all the stuff that doesn't require being there. Okay, my desk, I've got a 15 roughly. Don't think I've got the measurement for it here. No, I've been overestimating. That's only 4 feet. 8, 12. No, I've got about a 15-foot desk. Okay, that is right now clear. Get that clear. Your brain will start to work more effectively. Get a sheet of paper, take a doc file. You can do this either on paper like I do, or do it on digital, as in using Notepad or whatever form you like. Okay, by doing that, you can get things accomplished. And the more clutter that goes, the more organized your mind, the more effective you're going to be, and the more energy you're going to have to work with. It's amazing how warm I am right now, even with the fan going. But it literally boils down to taking things one step at a time. On this list that I'm talking about, you put 3 things on it, but the catch is this. Make sure each one of those is only 15 minutes to half an hour in length. In this way, you can see quantifiable evidence, quantifiable proof that you are making headway. Okay, the big kicker is you're going to have to look in the mirror and go, this is my responsibility to clear it up. Okay, it's my job to move it around, to get stuff in the right place. Now, I turned around and did that up front. My dining room has now become gaming central. Okay, where I've got most of the figures up front, most of the paints are up there so I can work on them. And I'll start doing that now. Well, not now, I'll finish stream first. But I've got a number of writing projects I'm working on, a number of style items that I'm going to be discarding. Okay, it's just going to take some time. There we are. Stone goes, I made me a monitor shelf, and I made little drawers to slide under it. That took care of my tape, scissors, odds and ends. I need to have. Yeah, now I don't have the capacity to build everything you're talking about. So what I did is I turned around and I went and bought little drawers. Okay, I bought the shelving because I don't have at this point the wherewithal to build it properly. Carl, I am really happy to see you here again. The reality of it is there's a lot of places to go and get depressed. A lot of places to get disappointed. I watch people play and watch people watching sports. It's amazing how many people go, oh, my team is only winning by 1 point. They're doing so poorly. I'm looking at it going, guys, if you're looking at sports, winning by 1 point still means you won. But because it's by, like, for me, oh, there we are. Oh, the drawers are modified Kleenex boxes with contact paper on them. Oh, okay. See, I've seen them done with duct tape. What I did was I went and picked up a bunch. I picked up a bunch of plastic ones for sorting figures and what have you. But here's a neat little thing. I'm not about to bring it down. Well, no, that'd take too much. The old CD records. Okay. The old CDs that you used to buy. There were little shelves that you could slide them into, standing in vertical rows. Those CD containers, those CD racks, work beautifully with these little things. Now, this is a container that we buy fresh mushrooms in, but they work as a drawer very nicely in the CD racks. And again, the more organized you are, the better off you are. But I took all of the loose paper that was on top of my filing cabinet. It's now up front where I can use it. Yeah, something's bugging me. But, I take a look at the way the world is. I see a lot of things wrong. Okay? A lot of it does not make sense because there's such obvious complications. Yeah, LA goes, I like these fine. And they cost me next to nothing. With my budget, less is more. I was talking to a millionaire one day, and that millionaire told me, he goes, look, whether you're a millionaire or you're a pauper, a buck is a buck is a buck. Okay? He says the only thing a millionaire has is more bucks. But if you can live on minimal, okay, and this is the one benefit of not getting my estate when I did. Because I've been waiting for the estate. I found out just how much use actual marketing companies were. Okay, I won't spend another nickel on them. Okay, I found out how much I was actually wasting going out for dinner. I've killed that off altogether. But I have been cautioned that I gotta find a way to get out of the house, or I will curl up and just disappear. My problem is I don't tolerate crowds much anymore. I was having a lot of trouble the other day. And like I told my other half, I don't understand the government. I don't work well with technology. I cannot track time for the life of me. And I don't therefore get along. And because I get lost so easily, I don't like leaving the house much. Net result, how am I supposed to function? Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right there, Carl. That is my satchel that's got my writing stuff in it for when I do leave the house. But that way I just grab it and I'm out the door. As a matter of fact, I got a friend coming over. Thank you so much for reminding me of that. I've got a friend coming over tomorrow to give me a hand with something. And I'm going to get her to go through my bug out file. Okay. I just want to make a note of it. Now, to be clear, what is a bug out file? A bug out file is my file that has all of my important papers in it, all of that stuff. The important papers, birth certificates, passport, license, so I can grab one file, drop it into that satchel you see, and out the door. Net result, problem solved. Okay, but I did that so that I can grab it if I have to. Now, this neat little thing here, this is my organizational tool. Now, come to think of it, and again, I believe real time works best. So what I'm doing here, yep, that's what that was. this should be, this is what I mean by organizing. Procrastination, I could go, oh, I should get to that, and never get it done. What do we got here? 904, whoop. 903, 91, 02, 03, 05, 06. Now, I think 07, 07 and 8 are there. Should be right. That's, well, today is not the 10th, today is the 8th. So we do that this way. Well, I scrambled that up somewhat. So I go, today is actually 0908 to 024. But these other three, this is my to-do list that I've been working with. So by doing this, and I can just like go back over it and see whether I've been keeping on top of things. It's not perfect setup by any means. But what it does is it makes sure that when I tell you that this is the thing I'm doing, that this is what works, at least I can sit here and say, here's the proof. Yes, it's a pain in the neck on occasion. But on the other hand, it does mean I can stay on top of things. And this is why I say, if I'm going to tell you I'm doing something, I have this idea that if I'm going to claim to do it, the least I can do is do it. So now what I've got here, wow, that worked really poorly. Forgot to put it all the way through. So, that goes there. There we go. I think I just did that wrong. That is July to September. Yep. I've been doing that very wrong. Okay, so I'm going to come back over here. This is what I mean by real time. Okay, because I've got this setup where I know it's a little off kilter, or more to the point, it was incomplete. So, I go here. This is 4th September, and we're actually in September, not October. Which, needless to say, means I've been off a little. But I came to the conclusion that if you're not on top of it, it will snowball and get out of hand. Which is why when I was looking at stuff today, I'm like, okay, how did I lose track of it? Well, the way I lost track was by not paying attention. So now I've got a system that works. Now, by all means, when I say put a list together, I am not telling you that you have to keep the records. Okay? I'm just saying it works on a day-to-day basis. Okay? In my case, yes, I'm tracking it. But I'm tracking it for my own purposes, not for anybody else's. And there we have it. Now, I did have this. What is this? To do October to December. to do. October to December. And really, so we'll correct this part. Because I'm actually tracking the to-do, that's what I've just done here. Now, what this means is if I tell somebody, this is the system that works, I can walk over, grab hold of it, and go, here's the proof I'm using it. This does not mean it is perfect. Okay? It simply means that it's a system that is working for me. There we go. See? I'm not going to try and get you to read it, but we have January to March, April to June, and then that's April to June. And then this one here is July to September. And now I've got my file set up for December, for October to December. Those 4 files, I can look at and go, this is what I said I was up to. And this is why I say I know it will work. LA goes, I keep a longer list, but I don't have a problem with overwhelm. I scan that at night and decide which projects I'm doing the next day. Yeah, LA's just suggesting, she goes, I always choose something I don't want to do on that list. Keeps me honest. Yeah, I have a tendency of going, okay, I've got all these things I've got to do. I'll tell you, I did not desire to go through the files. They are done. Okay, and I'll tell you, it feels so much better having them done. You'll find the same yourself as you get the clutter out of the way. As you get the clutter sorted out, you'll find that things come together. Same thing with your front closet. Okay, and let's go back to the first part. I went, like I said, I went. I'm going to have to slap myself in the back of the head to quit stumbling. Maybe not. Yeah, I just like filing too, but here's a neat little thing there, LA. If you don't like filing, doing it every time you come through the door will help. It's when it starts getting backed up that it becomes a problem. Look, 105. Let me see here. 50, 75. 109, 110, 130, 150, 200. And that, oh, look at that, I got an extra quarter. I had a quarter in my pocket. Okay, when my son gave me the money to go buy the printer, turns out I had a quarter in my pocket. So, we go back over this thing here. And again, this is where that filing comes in. In this case, tossing the quarter into my cash box. Now this stuff has to be sorted out, I know this. But let's just take a look at this. Since we're on that topic. I've got receipts here that need to get filed. That really do have to be filed in order to avoid complications. So I take those. This This, again, is that issue about real time. Now, I will tell you, I've created some problems for myself. So I literally picked a point and went, okay, what do I require to get straightened out? What is it that has to be there? Well, I've got such a shambles in my past. That doesn't mean that my past is not relevant, but I cannot correct it, and holding on to it, trying to sort it out, isn't working well. Well, that should keep electrolytics up. But once you get the filing system organized properly, it is so much easier to do it. And this should be what I'm referring to here. Yes. I don't know. I need that for tomorrow. These two sheets here. What? Yes, this is, it's odd. I'm doing this right here, but here's the thing. I'm showing you what I'm correcting. Okay, the idea here is I'm going to tell you it's necessary. Hopefully, my doing it while I am on air will inspire you to actually do the same thing, thereby organizing your own house. Now, this particular letter I require for tomorrow morning. What is this? Email files I've got to go through. I don't know if I really require that one anymore. That is my power bill. Oh, it hasn't been paid yet. That's right. And we are now late, and that's okay. It'll get paid as soon as... How much is it? I will deal with that. I think that's on my list already. But again, it boils down to if I can show you what I'm doing to get my world straightened out, maybe it will give you that push to straighten yours out. Joe is just informing us here. The activity at night in the cemetery has been great. None at all. Yeah, if you're looking for a quiet period, having it being quiet is a great setup. That's amazing. We've already gone through an hour. Now, let me ask you this, because we gotta take a look at this world. Okay. How do you tell if somebody is a good leader in any industry? Okay, any industry at all. How do you know if you're looking at a good leader or at a qualified leader, if you will? Any suggestion on what you should be looking for? Because I will tell you, not everybody is a good leader, and not everybody is a good follower. One of the biggest things I found with followers is if followers like asking questions, they're probably going to have problems with following. Simply because they're going to be asking questions about why things are being done. Okay, now, in your opinion, does a qualified leader ask questions of the people he's leading? And this again, it does apply to the organizational side of things. Now, where is this? Whoop. There we are. Now, this literally is the way I organize physical files. like physical receipts. Okay. If you look in this box, these are all envelopes, all separated, so that I can actually stay on top of things. And by doing that, we don't have as much of a problem. But like I said, LA, if you don't like filing, this method will keep you sorted around. Where is my yellow bin? There it is. There. Yep, that would be it. Nope, that's not what I'm looking for. Bingo. See, now, here's the other thing, and this is just another little trick for organizing. What do we got? In all fairness, Carl, I am what I refer to as an uncontrolled telepath, meaning I don't necessarily pick up exactly what people are saying. Like you say, well, what am I thinking now? Okay, there's a number of things I could say, but I'm not controlled at it. I pick up thought processes from people, and in all fairness, much as I do not know everything, and some people make the mistake, I had somebody contact me the other day. I wasn't dead on the money, and the reaction I got from them was basically they called me a fraud. Okay, now I've been called a lot worse. The neat little part. The one thing I will tell you where it comes to the consulting I do is literally the only thing I will guarantee anybody is I will guarantee I won't lie to make you feel better. I actually had, and I've got the files here. I had a police officer come to me one day. He was looking for the body from a cold case file. And we went for coffee. Well, let's go back a fraction. I was consulting for somebody else, and they wanted to find out about a missing person. All I asked was, what's their name? What was their first name? When was the last time that they were heard from? And where was the last place that they were seen? She gave me that, and I immediately looked at it, and bear in mind, it does not always come this clearly. I looked at it and went, you've got the wrong person in custody. Well, they've got a suspect. I said, the blonde guy you've got in custody is not the one that did it. He is involved, but he's not the one that did it. Right? So the woman looks at me just dumbfounded. She goes, would you be willing to talk to the police? I said, certainly. But let's be honest. If you're asking, will I go into the police station and offer information? Not a prayer. Okay? So I said, if they want to talk to me, this is where I'm staying. Come track me down. Next morning, the officer shows up on my doorstep. And, I opened the door. I said, oh, I know what this is about. Went down to a coffee shop with him and sat down. And while he's talking to me, I'm just sketching out a map on the table. On the placemat. And this guy is looking at me. His eyes are getting wider and wider. And I said, I take it you've seen this before. He said, yeah, I've got one identical to it back at the office. I said, so what's the problem? He goes, well, I just got mine last week. Where did you get yours from? I said, I asked the dead guy. He goes, I never told you he was dead. I said, no, but he knows. As it turns out, the only difference between the maps is his map was looking down on the site. Mine was looking up on it. long story short, we found bodies and we found bones, and the officer involved was transferred out of the area. Does it always come that easily? No. Okay. But the reality of it is, and I'm told you got to bill yourself for entertainment purposes only. Yo, I'll tell you, from my standpoint, I don't play with it. Okay. But that said, I also will not guarantee what I'm telling you. What my goal is to put you back in control of your life. The sad part about it is so many people will turn to an astrologer, a tarot reader, a psychic, and numerologist and go, that's gospel. Well, let me point something out. Okay, now yes, I've been reading tarot. I've been using tarot as a guideline. Okay, I've been consulting people without any tools at all since I was 10. This means I've got 51 years under my belt and way, way, way over 100,000 clients. Okay, now when you take a look at that, okay, it becomes really fun trying to organize whether or not your head is running smoothly. Because, see, if you watch the X-Men, okay, Charles Xavier, as he put it, the real trick is, his problem was trying to figure out that every voice he was hearing was not his own. I have the same problem. I hear, because of the fact I'm not only an uncontrolled telepath, I'm also, on top of that, I also have a tendency of seeing everything people are going through. So it becomes complicated trying to figure out, I was going to say, I'm also a working medium. As in, yes, I run into the dead all the time. Well, what, pray tell, was that little ding? That was the interesting noise. There we go. Now, this is that thing about doing my filing so I don't have to do it later. I just saw something go here, so let's see what we got. That's terrible there, Carl. Carl goes, I turn into a gremlin after 12 a.m. Chicken moderating, of course. Yeah, LA goes, the morning after midnight is a trip. I swear, midnight rolls around and half the people that aren't already asleep go to sleep. Lord knows I do. But, I'm working on trying to figure out how to draw an income at this point. Because I'm telling you, what I'm working with well, frankly, we are now on the 10th? No, the 8th. We covered that. And I'm still sitting here going, I don't know whether I've got rent at the end of the month. Now, I'll tell you, I've been living like that. My brother passed away in 22. I was told before the end of 22, we would have the estate sorted out. Now, here's the stupid part. I believed that. Okay, I lock money away, so the money I do have I can't get at. And, I trusted marketers and what have you. I won't do it again. But now I'm sitting in a situation where I've got a mess on my hands. If you don't have a way to relax, okay, so did I, LA. I actually when I was working at the psychic line, I actually worked from midnight, from midnight until 8 a.m. And I was the only one that was wall to wall people. Okay, I was always on the phone, like in an 8-hour shift. Well, I was working 10 hour at the time. In a 10-hour shift, I would be on the phone, like physically on the phone, for half of that time, at least. But you get some really interesting people at that hour. And I'm sure in the live streams you get the same thing. The reality is, I'm not live streaming at that hour anymore. Something to do with I really do have to sleep at some point. But now, what I showed you there, the filing that was necessary, is now complete. So, that can now go up here, out of the way. That really annoying job. And I will tell you, the only job I know of for other people that is more annoying than filing is making your bed. Okay, is this bed right here. Okay, most people do not like making their bed first thing in the morning. I'm telling you, you want to get your life in order, and this is going to sound absolutely stupid. Okay, if you desire to get your life in order, when you wake up in the morning, only lay there until your eyes focus well enough for you to see and move. Once your eyes are focused, okay, now, first and foremost, let's be clear. The most successful people in the world, okay, are awake and active between 5 and 6 a.m. local time. Nice, Joe. All right, sir. I was going to say that's number 4. The neat part, Joe, is all of those journals, okay, as you get them done, all of those journals will tell your story, okay, for anybody that cares to read it. And this is one of the reasons why I do a daily journal myself. Although I will tell you, looking back on it, I've mentioned I fight depression a lot. Okay, my journal entries can confirm it. Okay, and yes, a lot of them are digitized. The rest are on paper. One of the things that I have found, okay, is when you gain things organized, if it's organized for you, that is what matters. Okay, now, the reason I said get your bed made is because you get up in the morning, go to the washroom, okay, you go to the washroom, do what you have to, okay, come back. Now, whether you get dressed or make your bed first, that's your choice, okay, but make your bed. By the way, if you're checking your weight, do it only one day a week. Pick whichever day. Always do it at the same time, and always do it wearing no clothing. It will give you the most accurate run. But get done what you have to in the washroom. Come back out, make your bed, okay, and get dressed. Then you're ready to get out the door. Now, here's why you do that. You get up and you force yourself out of bed as soon as your eyes clear. The reason you do that is it overcomes the biggest obstacle you'll face in your life. your own stubborn disposition. Okay? Now, you got to go and do what you have to. Make the bed. Now you've completed the most annoying job available, second only to filing potentially. Okay? And now here you are, massive success, massive job completion. Okay? The two biggest holdups, and you barely got out of the bedroom. Isn't this a wonderful way to start your day? Okay, and again, don't take my word for it. But you do that, you're going to leave your bedroom feeling like you've managed to get something done. Okay, feeling like you're organized. Now, I will tell you, one of the things I do in the morning, or I was, for the last little while, I've been really lax on it. So, effective tomorrow morning. Okay, as a matter of fact, where are we? Take this list here. I got a number of things I got to get done. I started writing one of them. But when I get done this stream, I've got a bunch of writing projects to get carried away with. I've got 3 tasks on my list that cannot be done until tomorrow. Okay, because they're due for the morning. But you finish these 2 jobs before you even leave the bedroom. This means when you go out there, okay, you're going to be already starting the day with success. This means you're going to feel a whole lot more energetic and a whole lot more convinced you can make things and make things happen. Yeah, I mean, like most people, before I lost the 60 pounds, I look in the mirror and go, gosh, that's ugly. Now, don't get me wrong. Where it comes to people, where it comes to friends, business relations, I don't care. Okay. I think I could care less about how much you weigh. Okay. But for me, if it's just friendship or business I'm looking at, I really don't care about weight. Okay. When I'm looking at a relationship, I figure I am not attracted to somebody overweight. So I looked in the mirror one day and it's like, Keith, you're 246. Okay. You're 246. You don't like people being overweight. No way are you getting heavier. Last I checked, I was down on, what was it? Did I check it this week? Sunday. Oh, I didn't check this morning. Well, ain't gonna happen this morning. But last Sunday, I was 186.4. Now, you do the math. 246 to 186. In 2 years, I dropped 60 pounds. Okay, I didn't go on some fad diet. I didn't go on some deprivation diet. Oh, can't eat this, can't eat that, can't eat whatever. What I did, I didn't go on some massive exercise routine. I did the simplest thing possible. Okay. I did the simplest thing possible to drop weight, to organize my physique the way I desired it. I quit putting as many calories into my body as I was burning. Okay? And rest assured, my diet is garbage. Okay? And I move a little more than I used to. Net result, I am down 60 pounds. Okay? No diet, no organized diet, no diet pills, no crash burn, no heavy duty exercise, none of it. Now, if I can do it, so can you. Okay. Now, some of you may have a problem. Okay, you may have a thyroid or an adrenal problem, or maybe you've got something else medically. Find out. If you don't have a metabolic problem, aside from you're not moving, okay, it may be time to look at that. Yeah. Ella goes, I guess I could cut my hair. That'd bring it down some. Yeah, but probably not enough. Okay. I mean, now, to be blunt there, LA, you saw how long my hair was 4 years ago. Like on video. Even when I came down to visit you a decade back, my hair was longer than yours is. When I had the entirety of it cut off, I didn't even lose a pound of weight. So make certain when it comes to haircuts that it's a question of you desire the haircut, not you think you're going to lose weight because of it. And where are we? We are doing quite nicely. And again, guys, I know I haven't said this throughout. Okay, but if you've got questions, obviously, at least I think it's obvious, drop me a line. The reality of it is we are pushing to straighten things out. We are pushing to make inner voice a going concern globally. That's one of the reasons I'm going to end up talking to. I've got to sit down with Storm and figure out if he knows how to actually function in my Facebook business page. Thank you very much, LA. Do appreciate that. I've had a lot of people go through the page lately. It's about time I put it to use. But again, it's another issue of I sat here for 60 years of my life, biding my time, ignoring the reality of things, and frankly helping way too many people to my own detriment. And what I mean by that is I locked a whole pile of money away with other people where I don't have access to it and they can't get it back to me yet. Net result, I'm in a mess. Okay, but I know how it happened. And that said, I will work through it. One of the big things I'm looking at, and I don't know, I wonder if I've got it open. Nope, not yet. I do have a number of books that are coming very close to being done. Like I told you, Joe, one of them is Meet the Talon. Okay, and that's going to be a fun one. Now, odd question. I'm just going to dump this in your lap. In your guys' lap, right here on the air. LA and Storm. Am I misunderstanding something where it comes to the people you've got contact with down there as far as coloring a line drawing? What have we gone? I'm long. The fact of the matter is, I've got the pictures of the aliens. Okay. And I do have to get to work. But it employs another venue. Speaking of which, I do have to get that to Chris. Because there's things I've got to get done with him and I've got to start on the other side. But I need a cash flow first. Here's the thing, Carl. Yes, I will. What I've decided, because you've been away for a bit, so here's how we bring things up to speed. Now, okay, it's not cooperating. Okay, I'm sure you've seen this size book. That's believing your business. Okay. believe in your dream, believe in yourself and follow your dreams. Okay, these books this size, I've started a new series. Okay, called Meet the Give the Alien. So we'll have these are already in the works. Meet the Talon, meet the reptilians, meet the reticulans. Okay, these are booklets that are already started. They are more in depth than what the ones that are listed in Races of the World are. The difference. This, when the Talon one comes out, it'll be about this size, but it will only be on the Talon themselves. Now the Talon, in case you forgot, are an ant-like race that do actually spit web. Come to think of it, I've got a picture there of the inside of their ship. It was hand-drawn, but it does exist. So yeah, I've got, at last count, as a matter of fact, I can double check that. I think it's green one. Yep. I'm sure you guys recognize this. I'm referring to Storm and LA here. This book has been absolutely useful as all get out. But I take a look at the number of books I've actually got in the works. 12, 13, 14. Whoop. Yeah, do that way. Six minus 8 is 20. No. Shoot. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 26 minus 8 is 18. 19, 20, 21, 22. I have currently 32 books concurrently being written. Okay, but it's time to peel them off. Oh, thank you so much, LA. Appreciate that. Because the reality of it is, I don't mind the black and white. The black and white drawings are great for in Races of the Worlds. But a color picture is much more attractive with the different races. That ain't gonna work. With the meet the races. And yes, we are going to be looking at a number of different races as I go along. Again, if you guys have a specific race you would like to have covered, okay. Matter of fact, it just dawned on me. Two other ones I've got to add. Bringing it up to 34. We have Meet the Alphid. And the Calder. By the way, I did finally get an answer out of them. Talk about a pain in the neck. But I did finally get an answer out of them. Dwarves, they call themselves Calder. Okay. And that is being modified. Okay. In Race of the World 2nd edition. But yeah. That puts 34 books concurrently. It's time to start racking them off. But I'll tell you, you go into a massive depression based on setback and financial strain, you're going to have trouble. Okay? And I fell into the same trap many of you have. I'm really depressed. I'm going to buy myself something new in order to feel better. Now, I did spend more money than I should have in a way in order to get the shelving unit in place. But the amount it cleared up for me was mind-boggling as far as getting things moving in the right direction. You know, the nice part about it is as these come available, the reason I'm going with the small books is all of these are being set up so that $20 Canadian will put them anywhere, reasonably speaking, in the world. Now, the reason I say reasonably speaking is some genius is going to call me up one day and go, I'm 80 miles outside of this, outside outside of Egypt. I'd like a book delivered to me for $20. Not going to happen. Okay. I only deliver where the mail goes. You know, so that's why I'm putting them into smaller forms, because people are more likely to have the smaller amount than the larger. Now, don't get me wrong. The Meet the series will contain only one species, may contain a reference to another, probably will in some cases. Race of the Worlds contains 60. Now, where are we? Oh. I appreciate that there, Carl. Now, believe in your organization and follow your dreams is the newest one on this series. I'm about 3/4 done it. I was actually working on it today, going, well, that worked out nicely. My apologies, was working on it last night. Okay, but it's coming along very quickly. And now it's just a question of organizing things to get them moving in the right way. But I will tell you, the number of people that keep approaching me and going, oh, your website, your YouTube stream is great, but it's got no visibility. Well, I love the input. There's one little problem. I was looking on today, and Storm and LA when I was down visiting them in Las Cruces there. When I was down in New Mexico, they showed me on the computer. I'm actually on the front page without the input of these moguls or these amateur wannabes. Okay. Now, the reality is, if I had the money, the first person that would be getting money regarding my visibility would be Storm. To be frank, Storm introduced me to buy me a coffee. Okay, the link that got popped up there. That has generated more of an income, more sales in what, 4 months? Okay, than all the rest of my thousands and dozens of companies have produced in 15 years. Okay, now, I don't know. I really don't know just exactly how they can figure out they're going to help. They never have. They're still telling me they want money. I'm like, you're not getting it. You didn't do a thing you said you were going to. You can keep the money you had. You're not getting any more. Okay, because I don't know about you guys, but I find it very necessary to keep a roof over my head. And right now, the sad reality of it is, and this is why I say, get organized. The more I took a look at my finances, the more I realized I actually was in better shape than I thought I was. Okay, or at least I'm surviving. I was being stupid. I can tell you all the stupid things I did. Okay, I won't do it right now. But by listing out what you intended, by putting a list together and going, here's my goals. And that was this other sheet here. I got to deal with this. I had a list of goals this year that I really desired to be to accomplish. Oh, there you are. That I listed that I desired to accomplish for 2024. Okay. Oh, look at that. I made one. I had a list of 12 things I aimed at. Oh, I really wish I could tell you. I'm laying odds the Storm's got that answer. Because I will tell you the one troll I think you're referring to, a cave troll. The one that was fighting Aragorn, and that was in Lord of the Rings. That was in The Hobbit. No, that was in Lord of the Rings. I think you're referring to the cave troll there, Carl. Oh, correct me if I'm wrong, Carl. You're over in Great Britain, are you not? Where is? I don't know. Oh, the thin troll. I don't honestly recall a thin troll. To be blunt. I've got the books, don't get me wrong. But the more organized you get, the more you'll understand where you are. Now, of course, my finances are such that I now know where it's now starting the strap on them is creating a major problem. Oh, okay. Yeah, you've got now the third one, Return to Paradise. I'm only a chapter and a half away from finishing writing. Then I've got to go through and make sure it's all done properly. But then it'll be done. I can start moving forward. And finally, after 2 years of banging my head against the wall, I finally broke back into it. That one from that would be Gollum. Gollum was originally he was Diego. Okay, he was originally on Oh, the ring troll, yeah. There's what part of the problem was there, Carl, is it came out as the thin troll. But yeah, that's Gollum. Okay. And I don't actually have a figure. Oh, wait a minute, that's not true. I don't think I can get it down. I'm just looking overhead here. See, all of these up here are figurines. These are all 6-inch figurines I got. And I got them for the greatest price. Guy was throwing them out and asked if I wanted them. And I don't think I have Gollum. Yep, I do so. Right here. Snaggle. Okay. I've actually got the figure, but he's up, and there's no way I'm fighting to get him without popping a knee. Look what we got here. Now, the neat part about it is we are looking at a whole array of new stuff coming out. Now, I am, by and large, I will be continuing with this stream. Okay, I will be continuing with what's about to become a magazine. Speaking of which, I'll be sending those to you tonight, Storm. I finally found out in all the research I was doing, turns out the only difference I can find between a newsletter and a magazine is a magazine has a cover. Okay, that seems to be the only difference. So, I am putting a cover on it. One of the neat things that I am looking at, and I'm going to be talking to, what an idea. What an absolutely brilliant idea. 15 minutes. Thank you so much, Storm. I'm looking at the different ways. Now, I have not been dealing on the merchandising side very much, but I suspect it's time I did. That being said, guys, okay, and this is a direct question for all of you people listening. Okay, in the way of merchandise that I can produce. Now, I've got 8 different books in print. Okay, I've got pictures for most of them. But let me ask you this. In the way of merchandise, given what I produce now, in your eyes, is there anything I should consider looking into producing? Okay, to put up for sale now, Buy Me a Coffee is where I will continue to funnel things because, yes, they cost a little of any sale. But from my standpoint, I'm using their platform. There's no problem. I will be using them. I will go through PayPal. Okay. Or direct. And that said, if you've got an idea for merchandise, absolutely let me know. I'm only just starting to tap into the market, into the physical merchandise things. Now, Carl, I gotta ask. Oh yeah, posters are. I've got a printer that can do it. As a matter of fact, if you look, can't really see them, but this is one of them. This is done. This is laminated. Now, of course, this one is an advertising thing. Hence, it says 12-book series. But I've got on hold right now the front, and they posted from the front covers of the 2 books that are out. So I'll be looking at that side of it. The more organized I get, the better off I am. Okay? And the better off society will be. And this applies to everybody, by the way. Okay? Because as you get more organized, what you'll find is the people you deal with will be much easier to cope with, much easier to work with. And they, in turn, are likely to modify their behavior to the next people they deal with. Gotta ask, Carl, you've got a comment in here, big blue eyes. What I'm not certain of is what that refers to. Or are you referring to that with Gollum? Now, for obvious reasons, I am not producing a picture of Gollum. But wouldn't be a bad idea to produce a picture of Sawgrass. Sawgrass is a character in the Elderbachian Chronicles. He's a riot to write for, but he's odd. But what I am looking at is real simple. Okay, I've got to do something to take control back into my life that started by my getting my office organized. At this point, I don't have a big problem. We take that book. See, they are being put to use. See, we got the one here that's got writing in it already. This is how I start. You can't read that. Yeah, you really can't. I've started doing my writing in those. And what is this? This is a sleep pattern that completely was screwy. Do I have that down? No. That'll get that started. Boy, do I have I recommend 3 things on your list. Okay. I have a tendency of getting everything written down because I've got so many things I've got to get done. Yeah, that's what you don't give your fiance or the person you want to be your fiance. That one I think we can manage pretty easily, that storm. All I gotta do, I do think the coffee cups work absolutely beautifully. What I don't know is where to get a coffee mug made that actually I do know where. Come to think of it, I know a local lady that can produce. I've known her for 30, well, for all but 4 of her years of life. And I should get in touch with her because if I do that, then she can generate a little money as well. And I know she's strapped for finances. So that makes total sense. But coffee mugs, the one that you guys have seen me drink with, the alien one, that is produced. That was produced by somebody. I actually got that from I got that from the Paracon out west here. So I'm starting to expand in that direction. The fact of the matter is, I've got to increase my income level, just like you guys. In order to keep a roof over my head, I've got to be generating $2,500 a month. That'll keep my roof over my head comfortably, including food. And since I'm no longer paying advertisers, although I will tell you, I hit that 2,500 mark. The moment that happens, then the whole issue of word of mouth advertising drops into position. And I am all of a sudden able to spread that surplus out. Okay. Because I don't need to have in my pocket $1 billion. Okay. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't mind it. But I worked out the whole system when I said get organized. I took a look at my company and went, I'm going global. And according to Joe Stewart, the moment I said that, he goes, Keith, you're already global. I'm in Australia and you've already reached me. Right? So I'm like, okay, fair enough. But now it's time to make it happen. And we just got the 5-minute warning. So guys, I will be back again tomorrow. I gotta say, first of all, thank you so much for sharing your time with me tonight. For sharing your time with us. I really appreciate it. I do look forward to talking to you again in the future. In the future being tomorrow, 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. PST. I will absolutely see you there, unless the computer dies or I do or something like that. In any event, I'll just read this last one. Well, Carl's just saying, last year I had social workers taking food from the fridge as I was bedbound with cold. Yeah, with the cold and pneumonia. Yeah, absolutely. This is why I say put it on the fridge. That's the thing. Every book I send out has a bookmark like that. But I will see you tomorrow. Until then, do take care of yourselves and each other. And for pity's sakes,